Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Spike. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Mark. How you feeling?
Feeling all right. How are you?
I hate the NFL. I'm pretty sure that's what it is right now. I hate the NFL. I hate my team. I hate my secondary team. I hate it all. I just the hate that's spewing from my pores is epic. I hate my tertiary team. Like all of them. We all did terrible. All of us. Ugh. Sucks. So yeah, that's how I'm doing. Oh man. So how you feeling?
Well, I mean, in a million years, I never would have thought by the time our first round pick came around, Mike Green and Will Johnson would be sitting there.
Yeah.
Then we picked neither of them.
I was like, and you got nothing either.
So,
let's go with this left tackle. I like this. So, which I still don't think it was a bad pick. So I'm just telling you that. Especially going for what you have. I think you have a lot of talent. You did a lot of work already. So I didn't hate it. It wasn't a great draft, but it was an average draft. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I think they went in with the idea of let's do whatever we can for Jade Daniels, basically.
Yep. Let's make sure we save his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was about.
Let's make sure he doesn't have to be the top running quarterback in the
NFL. Which once again, it's a good thought. It's a good, smart thing to do. So I see Derpy in the building. He says the Arizona Cardinals had the best draft.
That's what I'm seeing from a lot of people.
What'd you think of their draft overall?
Well,
Before we get to specific teams, what did you think about the entire draft? What was your thought process on the entire draft overall?
It was probably the most unpredictable draft I've seen in a very long time. I mean, the whole Shedeur Sanders things aside, I had Will Johnson as the best corner in the draft, and he didn't even go until the second round.
I hear that.
Insane. I mean, I guess he's coming off the injury, but
so that's what I'm saying. Like, so what? I don't understand what.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, damn, Will Johnson. I was like, there's no way Will Johnson's going to be there at the 29th pick. And sure enough. Crazy.
No, I hear that. I'm seeing that. He says,
we still got Amos, so we did too bad at corner.
I thought that was a really good pickup. I think he's a day one starter.
Yeah, when we got him, I was like, ooh, nice.
Overall, the draft was almost
style, let him run.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see how good he was when he was in the pocket and had time to throw, though? I think that's what they're trying to do.
But I feel like he didn't even know what to do with it. He's like, so what do I do now? So, what's next? You know, give me something harder.
Right.
They said it went too fast.
Not for some people.
Man, it wasn't fast enough. Dude. So I think it was a harsh reminder for me that overall the draft is that the NFL changes what they want. They change their rules according to how they feel. And they can do that because they're the NFL and they're the biggest machine ever created. Like, you know, they're not going to fail, you know, so they can run you over anytime. So there's nothing you can even do about it. The NFL is going to do what they want to do. They're going to put you where they want you to be, no matter what. Their thoughts, the way that the draft even went, even with 2 years ago, they put running backs in their place. Say, oh, you're not that important. Now there's like, come on down, all running backs. You are the most important thing. You know, they could change their entire analysis or their thought process with what's going to be good immediately. So I think the NFL is doing that. The teams, I think, they're owned by Disney.
The NFL is not owned by Disney.
I will say what I saw from Shedeur Sanders, I thought was awful. It reminds me, because this is the whole thing with Deion Sanders. You understand that's a difficult situation, right? You understand that why people would shade away from that. I also say that the same thing I could say about Eli Manning when he was being drafted, right? with Archie Manning. It's the same type of situation, right? And then Archie Manning even went a step further and said, "We're not going to play. You draft us. We're not going to go there." He went a step further, always, right? And so a lot of people are blaming the whole Shador stuff with Deion, or the fact that Shador doesn't want to talk to specific teams because his father said that's probably not where you should go. And then I feel like the NFL as a collective voice said, then we're not going to draft you. We're going to put you in your place. And I didn't like that idea that we're going to put you in your place. And it felt very, when you say owners, I'm going to put you in your place, it's like, I'm better than you. I'm above you. And I'm going to put you where you belong. Don't try to get too high. Don't think you else. We're going to put you where you need to be, and where we think you be. And then they went a step further. They said, "Well, no, and actually, we're going to put you below where you need to be."
I feel like it wasn't just a statement to Shador, though. It's for people coming out in the future too. Be like, "Hey, don't think you could try to manage to put yourself where you want to go or whatever. We're the one who hold all the cards, not you."
But the same thing was happening with Eli Manning. They wouldn't do that with him, but then they do it with Shador specifically. And I'm like, and I think it's out because no one else is going to have Deion Sanders as their father. No one else is going to be in that same situation. And for an NFL that says,
well, that's not true. When Deion's other son comes out,
but it's going to be okay. There's two of everybody else that's going to be there, but. For an NFL that says that we do not collude, we are individual businesses. That's why we can do a draft. We're going to put you in. You get your actual place where you need to belong. I thought that was a terrible place to the point where I was watching that analysis, or analyst. They're saying, I don't know what the hell is going on. I can't tell you anything. Like when Show was drafted, they're like, I don't know. Silo went to the Bucks, yeah.
He was in the draft too? I thought he was still at Colorado.
Yeah, it was last year too. But yeah, they were like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what they're doing. You heard people on the high analysts saying, yeah, I had him as the second best quarterback. Even in a regular draft, early second rounder. And that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to kind of knock him down. Kind of humble him.
Well, Kuiper had him as the best QB in the draft. So
he was arguably the best QB though, and then they dropped him in the 5th round, and you have people like Dylan Gabriel going in front of him. I'm like, what the fuck? what are we doing here? So it was obvious that was collusion. It was obvious what they were doing, and the NFL should be ashamed of themselves. And I really don't like seeing that. But. Am I surprised by the NFL? No. We've seen this happen. The NFL do a lot of different things. We've seen them do a lot. They blackball a lot of players. There's players that could play, and they don't let them play. So it is a kind of what you said. It's a warning shot a little bit to everybody saying, we are the NFL, and we don't need you. And there's nowhere else you're going to go. Where else you going to go play? You going to play in Canada? Go ahead. Go play in Canada. Which Warren Moon had to go do. There were players in the 80s that had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That had to go and play somewhere else because of the NFL, the way they're treating their players. And I'm wondering if there's a time now that the NFL, someone needs to be able to be a different way of going. But the players would never kind of do this together because they're making so much money. So much more money in the NFL, and no team, no other league can kind of even compete with that unless you decide to then stay in school. You say, I'm not going to the NFL. Do what the WNBA players are doing. I want to stay in school, and I'm going to make my money there and forget you.
No, he didn't even get drafted. He was a undrafted free agent by the Bucks.
Signed with the Bucks. It was a preferred signing, I believe. Yeah. But I think that's what a lot of players I would do if I was in that situation. I'll just say, forget it. I'll go back to college. And then if you should be able to pull yourself out of the draft after you don't get drafted for 3 rounds. Pull my name from the draft. I'm going back to school.
You can't do that though. Once you declare for the draft, you lose your eligibility.
And I think you should be able to change your mind.
Which is crazy because I think the NBA.
You're basically a professional. You're basically a professional, right? You can have.
I mean, at this point, you would think. I'm pretty sure the NBA, you can test the draft, but as long as you don't have an agent, you can go back to college. But the NFL is completely different.
And I think
once you declare, you lose all eligibility.
We wouldn't see those meteoric drops. We wouldn't see this stuff. Like I think this is the worst thing I've ever seen, travesty I've ever seen for a player. You know, this is like Aaron Rodgers going in the third round. You know, he won late in the first, but this would be like Aaron Rodgers falling from top pick to the third round. You know, seeing Shiloh go from where I think he's probably into the first round type of talent, dropping all the way to the fifth round. It's that type of draft. It's that type of mistake, and I don't understand it. I don't like it, and I think they're wrong.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't shocked that he fell out of the first, just because of all the stuff I was hearing going. But I was like, "Damn, day 3,
like
that's insane."
Like you're playing with players that couldn't even hold your jock strap. You're
and then he's getting like all the freaking prank calls. So I was like, now we're taking things too far, people. Come on now.
No, but
the man's already suffering enough.
Did you see any of the message boards? I saw people calling them ghetto. I was like, ghetto?
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a lot of vitriol, a lot of racist stuff that I saw. I was like, whoa, ghetto. Do you understand how rich he's come up? You realize he's might be privileged. Think about it. He had a parking spot in Colorado for his Bentley.
Jesus.
It's like,
that's real ghetto right there.
So I'm like, what are we doing, guys? What are we even saying? I don't even understand. And I think that's wrong.
I think it was
Jeff Olbert's son who got his number.
Is that the one? Was he one of the people from? I think it was students from Ole Miss. Might have been. That somehow got his number, and they were prank calling him, saying, "No, this is so and so." They had a whole script written out too. So I saw like a still shot, and they had like the script, and they were like calling.
And that's why they stopped doing phone calls and started doing FaceTime. I think that was a thing that the NFL's now doing, making sure it's a FaceTime call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if I don't see the people actually on the screen, then I'm not going to believe any of it.
But hey, I'll give Shedeur some credit. I feel like he handled it really well.
He did.
He still celebrated when he got that call. Acted like it was the first round. Never said anything bad.
Yeah. But that's my point. I mean, a little bit. Yeah. That's what he's always been. He is, in media, he has never been anything but that. So that really bothers me because you're depicting them as something totally different. And I think when a narrative gets out there, that's the only narrative that matters. And that's what was it? Nick Saban, I think, said on his, because we were watching College Game Day for a little bit, and he said that, and he's like, Shedeur isn't the first person this has happened to, but he said sometimes someone says something that isn't necessarily true, but then it gets to the right channels and the right people, and then it spreads, and then next thing you know, that's just what everyone thinks. And then once everyone thinks it, you can't change their mind. Whether it's true or not. / collusion. If you don't think the NFL teams do that, they say we're not going to do this in one collective voice. They do. And NFL owners do those things. I promise you. I mean, would you not? If you're in the business with 30 other people, and there's something that you feel like is better for the league, would you not just call the person up? It's 30 people.
Right.
I promise you would. I call restaurant owners all the time. Hey, we're not going to hire this person. You probably shouldn't either. All the time.
He says it reminds me of Bo Callahan. If you know, you know.
Oh man, Shedeur reminds me of Bo Callahan. I hate that, man. I really do.
That's still crazy. I had no idea Shiloh was even. I thought he was going back to Colorado.
I thought that I knew he was done. But I didn't think. I think he was out of eligibility. Yeah. Anthony says I want to know how Sanders' number gets leaked out.
You can find just about anything on the internet if you try hard enough.
He also could be someone that doesn't like you, someone that has
or someone had it and leaked it.
Tells everybody else about it.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. I said once again, the NFL reminded me who they were. I understand who they are again. That's what it is. It is what it is. And unfortunately, I said there's no other option. We'll go back to school. That's the only thing you can do. Go back to school. So, with that being said, who do you think had the worst draft? Now, forget the best draft. Who had the worst draft overall?
Well, Cleveland's not grading very well.
I actually don't mind Cleveland's draft at all.
I didn't either, but there's C+. I was like, ooh.
I think they're wrong. I like Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham is going to be dominant with Myles Garrett. Schlesinger is going to be a great playmaker.
I agree. I mean, there is the question mark of why they drafted 2 quarterbacks, but other than that, I was like, I don't mind these picks, to be honest.
Quishon Judkins in that backfield is going to be look here now. Top 5 fantasy rookie draft this year. Quishon Judkins should be in that top 5. He should be the second running back
coming of Chubb. Second coming of Chubb.
Yeah, literally, that's what he did.
Chubb.
Yeah.
As soon as they got him, that's exactly what I said. Because everyone thought they were going to go for Trayvon Henderson, but they didn't. Yeah,
they
said Judkins. Because if
I was so mad. I was like, no.
Look at the way Stefanski ran Chubb. I was like, that's exactly what he was going to do with Judkins. He got Chubb back, basically.
And Judkins doesn't have a lot of tread. He has a lot of tread on the tire. He doesn't. Nope. He shared time. He's going to have years on this. I mean, that's a great pick for them. I so wanted him so bad, bad.
I thought of you too when they drafted him.
So it's so funny because the 2 guys I wanted Judkins and Henderson, and they went the second pick before the Bears, the first pick before the Bears, and the Bears said, "F it, we trading out." It's just like we out this.
Right. You missed out on. Okay, so speaking of worst drafts, so we can throw the Bears in there.
100%. I was furious.
I was like, when the Saints took Banks, my first reaction was, "Oh, you're getting Warren." I was like, "It's just sign it up. You're getting Warren." And then Braden was getting these notifications. Like, I guess it was somebody. I don't know if he was getting them directly from Schefter or what. Because I guess they were hanging out where they were making the jerseys, so they were able to see who was getting drafted fast. And he just goes, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Just watch." And I was like, "Huh?"
Like, why?
They said Colston Loveland, and I was like, "What?"
So you decide to draft Cole. So you pay Cole Kmet, and then you draft Cole Kmet. What?
Yeah, I was like, if you were going to go tight end, at least go Tyler Warren. I mean,
who can do other stuff? He can throw the ball. He can
throw the ball because he was a quarterback. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can do.
He's so versatile. Go back in the back. He can be that fullback.
Colston Loveland.
I have no idea.
Or if you're going to get Colston Loveland, trade back.
But if you're going to get Colston Loveland, right? Then your next pick probably should be a receiver because your idea is okay. We're gonna go 21 personnel, right? We go 2 tights and a run, and a wide receiver, whatever, and running back. I mean, two tights and a running back. Going 21 personnel, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, running back. Then your next pick is saying we get a wide receiver in Luther Burden, who's very much like Deebo Samuel, but you already had DJ Moore. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? You just paid DJ Moore. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? You can't get any worse? They're like, let's have a second right tackle.
What are we doing?
I mean, the dude is massive, 6'8", 331,
but they traded back. They traded away from the dude that you really needed. There's an Ursary, whatever, from Minnesota. He was there. They traded the pick, and then surprised they didn't get him. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What is going on? You guys are idiots. Idiots. Like, look. Oh my god. I mean, one of the worst drafts I've ever seen. They reached for a defensive tackle who was not. So there were 30 defensive tackles in the top 100. the one guy who was not part of those 30, that's who you decide to draft. The only defensive tackle you draft. What are we doing here, guys? And then we're looking for a running back, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing? I almost ripped off my jersey.
The only thing I could think, and it's funny too, because literally, I swear to God, if I had $1 for every time I would say something, and then 2 seconds later, someone on the TV would say exactly what I said, I would have had a lot of dollars. I literally sat there and went, Luther Burden, is that they're trying to get that so that can be their Amon-Ra St. Brown? And kid you not, someone goes, he could be their Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was like,
but they already have DJ Moore.
Oh, and that's what's funny. And then Braden goes, yeah, but they have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. I was like, but they're not Amon-Ra, I guess.
You're right. DJ Moore is bigger.
And then I was like, I guess maybe Colston Loveland's their, Sam Laporta. And then again, Braden's like, but they have Colston.
They already have him. Like, so what are we doing? I know
Ben Johnson wanted his guys, I guess. I don't know.
But they already paid these guys. So their guaranteed contracts are for another 2 years. And then after that ends, you gotta pay Caleb. So I have no idea what they're doing, what they're thinking. It was idiotic. The only saving grace, honestly,
back a lot higher. I don't know. That's what I was shocked me out of everything.
That
was I know
you didn't get Caleb. You didn't go get Caleb. I'm like, okay, you liked Caleb from Iowa. Why wouldn't you just grab him? You literally traded out of the spot that they grabbed him. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I felt like someone needed to go there.
We were going to get Caleb Johnson too, and we didn't. So,
well, I think both.
Man, if I had $1 for every time my team was about to be on the clock and the player I wanted got drafted right in front of me, I would have had a lot of dollars.
I gave your team a C. In the draft, I gave my team a C-. There's only 2 other teams I gave lower grades. Minnesota, because I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Oh yeah, Minnesota was terrible everywhere. Let's bring in 2 free agent guards. All right, let's draft one now.
What are you doing? I don't know. What's your plan? I don't think you went in with no plan at all.
They traded for Sam Howell. They got their backup quarterback. Vikings C-.
Like, that was bad. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, my AFC team, right? The only team I like in AFC. What the F are you doing? That was the worst draft I've seen in years. I have no idea what you're thinking.
49ers got a D. That's another one I heard did bad was the 49ers.
But I think that they put positions, at least it made sense. I thought they could have got different players, but I thought they made sense. I thought.
Here's what I will say though. The Bears' moves were perplexing, but I still feel like you didn't get bad players.
But you got players in positions that you already have. That's
I'm not. But that's why I give you like C+, B-, just because I do feel like you got high caliber players.
You got high. Well,
do you need them in some of those positions? No.
And you didn't get any of the players in any positions that you need. You didn't get guys.
Why are we giving up all that draft capital for, the left tackle, Tunsil, and then with the first pick, we're just going to get another tackle?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You want to have a good offensive line. But, like, we already had a decent tackle from last year's draft that didn't play bad when he came in.
They didn't like him. I'm guessing they're trying to move him to right tackle. I'm right, yeah. And
we saw Andrew Wiley, too, who wasn't bad.
Maybe they won better. They won good.
I guess they won a whole rotation of good linemen, I guess. I don't know.
They're assuming someone's getting hurt.
When you have a top 10 corner just sitting there and you have his teammate on your team.
But see but the reason why I gave you guys a C and have no problem with it is because I think Amos is good. I think Amos is good.
We got a B+ on here.
Yeah.
I do like Josh Connolly Jr. Don't get me wrong. I do like him.
And it was good. He could play left or right tackle.
It was a cool story because my GM, Adam, I guess after they did the pick, he put up a sign. It was a handwritten note from Cliff Kingsbury that he left in his office before he left for the draft. And it said, "Good luck at the draft. Go give me the tackle from Oregon." Literally what it said. So I was like, "Oh, I guess if that's what Cliff wanted."
Maybe he knows more. Maybe he knows
better.
That's
what I said. I was like, I'm gonna trust in Cliff because he turned that offense around last year.
What if he goes to right tackle?
To be there. So, and like I said, I love getting Amos in the second round. That to me was, I was like, oh, we still got a good corner. Sweet.
Yep. I think he's starting corner. Clue, he walks in.
No clue whatsoever corner. What we're doing at edge rusher. I don't even think we drafted one.
This is true.
We decided to get a receiver in the 4th, and then we got a linebacker, and then we got a running back in the 7th. So
which is just any running back you grab in the 7th round is special teams. Hopefully you make the team, or just fodder for your great defense.
It's just sad to me because even though this gives us a B+, and I don't mind most of our draft picks, it's just annoying that everyone else in my division
got better,
got an A or an A+.
Yeah, everyone else in your division got better. I don't understand.
The Giants got Scattaboo. I was like, motherfuckers.
Well, I'll get on the Giants in a second, but let me finish on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Derek Harmon, I thought was a reach, but I didn't mind it.
That's a sad story. Yeah, my mom died
afterwards. Yeah, that was awful. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a round 2 pick. Caleb Johnson, I think, is a good pick, but they're not going to be able to, because Warren's going to be a starter. Jack Sawyer, I thought that was a reach of a pick.
Yeah, I thought we were drafting Caleb in the 2nd. I'm not going to lie.
Me too.
He was sitting right there.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, we didn't get Caleb Johnson. Okay.
I think Yaya Black, reach. Will Howard, not a quarterback. Carson Bruner, not going to make the team. And Dante Kent, not going to make the team. So, why would you grab those guys? That's why I was like, this is the worst draft ever. You guys had needs and filled 0 of them. If your thought is that Will Howard is going to be your quarterback in the future, then you don't know football.
Braden and I were talking about this one too. I feel like they must know Aaron Rodgers is coming in.
But does that matter?
For this upcoming year, I feel maybe.
But does it matter though? Because you're a 41-year-old quarterback. You saying he's going to be that good? He's going to.
If you break down the actual stats of Aaron Rodgers last year, he was not.
Yes, but he's going to play for 2 years. Well, you're not going to be bad enough. But you're not going to be bad enough.
They address the quarterback situation every year now. This is a year thing with the Steelers. They'll find something next year. Okay,
but they're not going to have a low draft pick.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins will be available, or they'll bring in Joe.
So they'll get another 41-year-old. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Cousins will be 38. Okay, that's 3 years.
That's 3 years of oldness. Oh my god, I don't understand.
Or maybe they're looking for Cousins this year. Who knows?
You had opportunities. You had opportunity. You tell me you pulled back in. You came back in the 4th round and said, "You know what? I know I see Shedeur there, but I'm gonna go Jack Sawyer."
Or they're like, screw it, Mason Rudolph, go out there and suck so we can get one of the better quarterbacks next year.
Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening in Pittsburgh. They're never doing that. And that defense is too good, and it's old.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to waste a year of TJ Watt, but
it's getting older. It's a win now time.
That's what I'm saying. I don't your defense is good, but they're aging.
But that's the point. You don't have time.
No, I understand. But if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, I feel like you'll be good enough with that defense to win games. I know that was said about the Jets, but the Jets find ways to lose. So,
how about this? I think the Jets had a great draft.
Yeah,
I like their draft. I like their line. I like what they're doing. Armin Membu at right, let him play his natural position. He's going to be a monster.
They're the ones who ruined your draft. They took.
I know. I hate that, but
they took the tackle.
But I didn't want to.
They'd taken Tyler Warren. I wonder what would have happened. Then you would have been justified a little bit in taking Colson Loveland, I guess.
No, the same thing would have happened. Just different story. It's the Saints ruined my draft. But Mason Taylor, I think that's a great pick. Great pick. I think he's going to be great at tight end. Great for Justin Fields. Azariah Thomas at cornerback. he's gonna compete for the other quarterback, but he's gonna be more of a slot. Arian Smith, I think he's going to. I don't know if he's gonna be able to play, but he's this depth. Malachi Moore, I thought that was a good pick. The other two, I don't know if they're gonna make the team, but I thought they actually had a pretty decent draft for the Jets. I think that their offensive line is good. I think Justin Fields is gonna have his best chance to be protected that he's ever had in his career, ever. And there's talent there. The Jets were good before Aaron Rodgers got there. So people forget that there's actually talent there. So I think that we're going to be good. I think their defense is going to be good. Don't be surprised to get Jets with 8 or 9 games next year. Just don't be surprised. I'm telling you.
About the Cowboys draft, why are everyone saying it was so good?
It addressed needs. I think they got good players overall. I think they did get good players. I mean, overall, it was fine.
Everywhere I looked, it was Cardinals, Cowboys, 2 best drafts. Panthers.
Oh, Panthers. Yeah, that's the one I was going to talk about.
Yeah, Panthers, crazy.
But you don't like it, so talk about that. You didn't like what they did.
I'm not that personally. I understand the pick. Like you said, they need to get a number 1 receiver. I get it. Mm-hmm. I'm just not that high on McMillan. He could come out and be really good, I suppose. But to me, he just, I don't know. Like, he had all the measurables, but like, if you can't break away in the NFL, you're not going to be great, in my opinion.
I don't know if they need to be able to break away. They just need to be tall enough that Bryce Young can see him.
I understand he's 6'4" and a half.
He has to be able to see him. He can't see over the line. He's going, I'm going to throw it up.
I mean, I do love the picks of Skirton, and then Princely was an amazing pick.
Now you're going to get a lot of pressure on that quarterback.
Actually, I kind of like Trevor Etienne.
And that backfield too. And he's a good compliment. He's a good compliment to Chuba.
And they even got a solid, rotation possible starter in Latham Ransom from Ohio State. Then you kind of have, Mitchell Evans was a solid tight end at Michigan. Michigan tight ends are usually always good.
Mm-hmm. And then
Jimmy Horn Jr.
Yeah, Jimmy Horn Jr. I thought that was an interesting team. So,
the Saints didn't try to get him.
Saints, they don't think that much into their draft.
Yeah, Jimmy Horn was a longtime Saint, so it's just.
I'm saying that, but they don't. I know exactly why you said it, but I don't think they thought enough. Let's see.
I guess I can see why it scored so high because, like I said, going 4 or 5 picks in, they did a pretty good job. And then, like I said, McMillan isn't. Obviously, he was the best receiving prospect. Outside Travis Hunter.
But Travis Hunter, that's.
And with his measurables, I understood the pick.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
So I was surprised Will Johnson dropped so much in the draft because I think teams don't realize what you need. When someone has an injury and you get a chance to get them low, then you need to grab them. I think that's why I want to talk about some of these other picks. Getting a cornerback from Alabama is a smart pick. Doing things like that, those are smart picks. So I just don't know what they're doing. I'm actually okay with the Rams draft picks. We'll get on the Rams in 1 second because I want to talk about the Cowboys, and especially because them boys is here. What's up, them boys?
Hey, them boys. Long time no see.
So the Cowboys got great players in valuable positions they drafted. I wish they would have went with Hampton round 1, but Booker is good. Good pick there. I agree. I think especially when you lose your All-Pro guard and you get Tyler Booker, who is a monster. He is a monster. You probably could have grabbed him later in the first round.
That's what I said. You said he was a bit of a reach, but
when you're going to get him again in the back end, this is your opportunity to grab him. You grab him. Ezeraku, we talked about him during the mock drafts. I thought that was a really good edge rusher to replace. Yeah, Lawrence. You'll go ahead and get a level, and then they get Siobhan Ravel. Like, wow, that's amazing. The talent there is obvious.
It's right in with corners and ACL injuries.
But you know how good he could be.
Oh, I know.
I don't think Jaden Blue is a great pick, but it's whatever. But like Shamar James, I think Shamar James is a good pick. I think they got a lot of guys that go throw a lot of guys at the positions. They did a really good job of identifying talent.
Running back too.
Yeah. It was a Phil.
This guy in the 7th round doesn't even have a description underneath him. Crazy.
So, I think you guys got a lot of value at your picks. Yeah. So, I think you to build your offensive line first, and then the running back will come.
Oh, going back to bad drafts and question marks, what the hell are the Broncos doing?
That was actually something I put a star by. So,
I mean, the first pick was okay, Jahab Barron.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the second round, they had all those running backs sitting there, and they went Harvey.
Well, so Harvey reminds me of Darren Sproles.
Kamara.
No, Darren Sproles.
Oh, Darren Sproles, another Saints running back.
Another Saints small. And remember, this is the time where they were going Pierre Thomas. They were going a 3-headed monster at running back. I think they're going to do the very same thing in Denver. I think that's why they went with Harvey.
The only reason I said Kamara was during the broadcast they compared them, and even here it says head coach Sean Payton gets his Alvin Kamara and Harvey.
Yeah, no, and that's not what it is. If you talking about Hampton, now Travion Henderson, those are
you got Pat Bryant in the third. I was like, who?
Yeah,
I mean, you'll know about him. He's from Illinois.
Yep, I'm the receiver, right?
Yeah.
So, decent hands, more of a big guy. But Jahdae Barron makes sense, right? That's a good. We all said he was one of the top corners. He was probably.
When they got it was shocking because I just didn't see them going corner, but I still like the pick because I like Jahdae Barron.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you're really solidifying your pass defense here. Okay.
Well, then I say RJ is one of those guys. The same for it's going to be Darren Sproles. Pat Bryant is the big body receiver. 6'2", long arms. Pretty good.
Like I said, that being said, to me, I kind of had question marks about Harvey and Bryant, but then Braden and I were talking, and I was like, but Sean Payton's going to get his guys. So
exactly.
Just look at last year when he went out and got Bo Nix. I mean, granted, that was a hack to get because they weren't going to be in the second or third round. But he was like, he's going to get his guys. And I was like, that's true. Look at the Saints and what he did there.
And if it works in his system.
And made it work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I mean, you look at it, but then even Q Robinson, which, you don't think in the fourth round, people don't like it.
Yeah. Alabama.
But you go with Alabama. You go with a guy who didn't produce the Alabama. It doesn't matter if you produce the Alabama, right? Because that means you're talented. That means you have opportunity, and that means you probably didn't have a lot of tread on your tire. I think that 6'4", 243, you can't teach. And the power and explosion is going to be good. So,
man, they really dissing on the Lions draft here. B-.
Yeah, no, B-. I think the Lions deserve a C-.
Oh, you didn't like the draft either, huh?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were going to go Mike Green in the first round, and then they went Tyreek Williams. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's fine with me. I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
Rutledge, guard Georgia, then a receiver.
They were doing things that they're trying to replace players that they lost.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's all there was. And it not best available. And that's a lot of times when you don't do that, you get yourself in trouble. When you're trying to just replace players that you lost instead of saying, okay, I have talent here. I'm going to grab the most talent guy there.
Well, it's just weird with all the injuries that they suffered on defense.
That they don't go.
You thought, Schwarzenegger was right there at linebacker. Mm-hmm. You could have had Mike Green at edge rusher.
Yep.
You could have had Will Johnson at corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could have done so many other things, and then they went Tyreek Williams.
And I was like, okay, why? But I didn't. If the Vikings and the Lions have a bad draft, I'm okay with it. It works for me. Yeah, it works for me. So I don't like Will Campbell. His arms are too short. I think that's going to be a problem. I don't think he's a left tackle. I think people are going to take advantage of him. I've said this from the beginning. I think he's going to end up being a guard. He's going to be a Pro Bowl guard, but he's going to end up being a guard.
And then the Green Bay Packers give him the big F you to Aaron Rodgers. Hey, guess what we did? Took a receiver in the first round.
Only because you suck. And as much as I hate Green Bay and everything about Green Bay, I agree they suck.
The Texans really like Iowa State receivers.
You want to get two of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
we're gonna go back to Deuce the GOAT. So Deuce is always in our movie review one. Deuce
Rams. See,
is amazing. So the Rams draft was interesting.
They traded back.
Were you surprised they didn't go a quarterback?
I kind of was. But I mean, they set themselves up to not have one but 2 first rounders next year. So,
yep, which is going to be a great draft, but none of them are going to be bad.
Are insane.
Yeah,
that's why I don't mind the edge rushers that they got, but what they paid to get them, I'm like, you guys are insane.
You must think you're going to win now. They're in win now mode, and the worry is that Carolina is going to come up.
Was falling out of the first round in a lot of people's mock drafts. You guys gave up an extra first round pick and 2 other picks to trade back into the first round for.
It's funny.
Just picked an edge rusher.
who traded back into the first round with 2 third-round picks? There's a team that traded back into the first round with 2 third-round picks, and they did that. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? Well, that's what they said. They said the Rams are positioning themselves to get a quarterback next year, basically, because they can take those 2. They're banking on the Falcons not being great.
I think they'll still be good. I think
they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think you're in the 18 and a 24 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you can still take those 2 picks and move up.
Try to get a 10. Maybe.
Yeah.
So the Rams grabbed Terrence Ferguson, tight end. I thought he was a good tight end. I love when you take tight ends that are playmaker guys, and there was a run of tight ends that was going crazy. So that was good. Josiah Stewart, I think. I'm not sure how good he is. I'm not sure. He's 6'1". He's not really long. He is explosive. He did have 8.5 sacks, so he can play. He definitely can play, but I'm not sure how good he really is, and I worry about that.
Jarquez drafting another running back. Come on.
Jarquez Hunter is a running back. We got he was all SEC guy. He was like 1,200 yards, something like that. He was interesting. So they have another guy just in case that goes wrong. Anything goes wrong with Williams, they got someone else. Jarquez Hunter is a NFL player. He definitely is, and I think that's a great backup.
But they already had what's his name from last year that I had. Let him be the number 1 back.
It's not going to happen.
For
Michigan, right? Yeah.
First and second round pick with my running back last year. I'm so angry with myself. I could have had Brock Bowers, BTJ, Jaden Daniels. I could have had such a great draft, but no, I would have messed it up by having to go.
But you still went Jason Daniels. You still got.
Well, I went Jaden Daniels because I traded Roma Donze, but
yeah. Which good pick, good trade.
At this point, it might be because I don't even know if they have faith in the man now.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what. I have no idea what we're doing. And we'll get to that. I see where
I know when you drafted Luther Burden, I was like, "Thank God I don't have Roma Donze anymore." I don't know how much confidence I'd had.
Or DJ Moore.
Or maybe they don't like DJ Moore. Got Travis Hunter, which I feel like will only open BTJ more.
100%.
And
they're going to let them play both ways. That's something that would be good.
I think that's why the Browns traded back because they were only going to play him as receiver. I don't know if they're going to necessarily play in that court.
You should. So they got Ty Hampton, Chris Paul Jr., which I thought was a good one. Second all SEC, great tackle machine. Konate Mumfield, I remember him as a receiver. He's a special teams player right now, and that's all that is. So I'm not bad. Not bad. Ty Hamilton, if I remember correctly, it was Ohio State, right? He played at Ohio State and very agile, good hands, good slapping. So, I think he played 54 games for them. So that was
fourth member of Ohio State's championship defensive line to be selected.
Yep.
He didn't grade on the level of his counterparts. However, this is one of the best tacklers on the defensive tackle position.
A sure tackler.
Yeah, missing only 7% of his tackles this past season.
And I say start 54 games. This is
because
this guy can
that's
play.
what the Rams need, more defensive line help.
They just want to make sure they're good.
Oh, and they got Josiah Stewart too. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's why I told you. Yeah,
Jesus.
But I didn't like Josiah Stewart. I don't know how good he really is, but he as a rotational, just a pass rusher, just hey, go get the quarterback guy. He works.
That's what I'm saying. You put him in with those other guys.
It's a NASCAR package all the time. We had Kadani in the building. He said, "Good morning, guys. How y'all doing this morning?" I hate that.
Sorry about your team's draft.
Sorry. Hey, just join the club. You with me, man. You with me. We suck.
I'm not that much higher, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Lucas says, I think the Bears' best draft pick was Lucius Burton III. I cannot believe he dropped that far. Here's my question for you, Lucas. Hopefully he's still there.
Bears did well picking up Burton.
My question is, then why would you go get the tight end in the first round and then draft Burton with what you already have? With what you already have at a receiver. My question is, where are they going to play? So we have other needs. Where are they going to play? I don't understand what they're
That's
doing.
what his name was. Blake Corum.
Blake Corum.
Was drafted the year before prior, so I don't get it. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
But it was a 4th round pick, guys. It was a 4th round pick. It wasn't like it was like the right then, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my question.
Blake Corum was like a 3rd round pick last year. So
my question is still like, where are the Bears going to do? I don't know where they're going to play these guys. I don't understand what they're going to do with. So they don't have. They said they drafted a tight end to go 21 personnel, and then their next pick is a wide receiver. Individually, these are good, talented players, but the plan doesn't make sense. You already re-signed DJ Moore.
Impact player over drafting for needs.
Yes, but you already signed these people too. When you do that, you don't just do you need an impact defensive tackle. You need an impact offensive tackle. And you don't get the offensive tackle you get can't be right tackle. So I don't understand what the plan was. And there were other guys there. You could have had an impact. Caleb Johnson could have been there too.
Did play left tackle 2 years
for 12, for 12 games 2 years ago. Yeah.
So maybe their thought process is either moving right to left tackle.
No, right is not a left tackle. He's
moving him back. He's 6'8", like 318. No, he's not 331. He's like 318.
Yeah,
I think. So maybe they're like, give him a shot at left.
So, and Lucas says, the offensive tackle and defensive tackle would have been worth 10 weren't there. It sucks. No, 10 is not my problem. If you're going to get Colston Loveland, whatever. That's the guy you want to go lay your bed with. Then you're saying, I want to be under center, 2 tight end offense. Fine. Because you had your 2 receivers. You drafted one really, really high. You paid the other guy. You have the 2 tight ends there. Okay. Now you need to go get a running back, right? To do 21 personnel. Right. That's what you have to go do. Now, before your 39 pick, your 2 running backs you really wanted, Henderson and Judkins, are gone. Gotcha. I understand what's going on. So now you have to go defensive tackle. You have to, right? You go either edge rusher or defensive tackle right there. You have to. And then you don't give up 41 for more crap, because that's what you drafted was crap. And you go 41, you go to Irsay. You go offensive tackle Irsay from Minnesota, who they saw who is the only real true left tackle in the draft. That's what I don't understand. Like if you have a plan, then go with the plan. If you think this is what I'm going to do, but don't change it mid-draft. Like, well, I'm really going to go 21 personnel. Well, I really like that guy, but that doesn't make any sense with my 21 personnel, but I could get more talent. There, I don't know. And then you have to resign these guys. It doesn't make any sense. You already signed DJ Moore. This
is far more entertaining than if they just drafted who you wanted them to.
If left tackle
we get a thumbnail of you just like, Braden loves the Bears draft, or Brian loves the Bears draft.
If left tackle becomes a problem during the season, I'm going to erupt. Like clearly. If Irsay becomes I think he's going to end up being a solid starter, and then it can be a Pro Bowler, I'm going to have to erupt because it doesn't make sense.
Left tackle shouldn't be an issue.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know who's at rushing.
You want to take a rushing?
We got nobody. We got Dorrance Robinson or whatever his name is. That's it.
So
he wasn't even a starter last year. He was a rotational guy.
So I would like to see them get Green or Irsay too. So, but why do you trade him back to get guys? Just random guys. It was definitely a Ryan Poles move that you just get extra guys. We're gonna throw bodies at the problem instead of getting talent. Get talent. Stop throwing bodies. I don't understand that. See, I think that they had a board and they were sticking true. The results of the picks not making a lot of sense to us. That's what it looks like to me. But if in your board, it still has to have a plan, right? If you. Ben Johnson said we're going to be under center. So 21 personnel made sense to me. That's fine. And then you sign 2 slot guys in the offseason.
So you don't think Roschon could be the guy anymore?
No.
Okay.
I think you
had to go Roschon hype train. Okay.
They need to draft Caleb Johnson.
Oh, then prepare to erupt.
I'm like, no, it's like, oh my God, Braxton Jones is the player, guys. This is where we're going, and you're not putting anyone there to even compete. No one else to compete.
Ooh,
oh my God, he is not left tackle. He's
every week. Is this the week he erupts?
Oh my God, it's gonna be a ticker. It's like
Volcano Brian. When will he erupt?
If you're
it's just a matter of time.
If you want to go ahead and go under center, you better have a strong left tackle. You better have a pillar of your line. Roschon is a franchise pillar. I know. Lucas, I know. It just doesn't make sense what they were doing. It's almost like they had 2 different plans. They had Ben Johnson's plan on one side, and they had Brian Poles' plan on the other side, and they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, stay with one plan. Go with that plan. Work that out. If you're gonna go tight end, your next thing is a tackle, defensive or offensive. After you lost your running back, and then you get Caleb Johnson and you get Irsay. Those are the players you would have got at 72. You would have got Caleb Johnson. You could have got Irsay at 41, and you could have got your defensive tackle at 39. What the hell?
There is a left tackle available. You could go get. Mark Andrews is available.
Hey, bring another.
The Ravens have no plans on keeping him, and they said he's available. So
bring another tight end in. You're right.
We need another guy
that can go 3 tight ends, no tackle. That's what we need to go.
Just have Mark Andrews block because that's all he's good for now. Apparently.
Oh my gosh.
We get pancakes as a fantasy stat because I need Mark Andrews to get some kind of stats.
He gets 1.5 for every pancake because he's a tight end.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that he had 5 zero-burger games or still finished in the top 5 in fantasy points.
Because he's still amazing. He's still amazing. He's so young.
Oh, gee. That was
Bob Doe said. It is because all the teams are staffed in the league with franchise quarterbacks, or that quarterback selection was too few or not good enough for QBs. We're so low on the draft. No, so that's not a good excuse at all for Shedeur. It's not a good. It's the NFL is a problem. The NFL has to put you in your place. You better know who you are, know where you sit, and that's all that matters. I think we know this about the NFL. We've seen it happen before. Players that could play get kicked out of the NFL all the time because they don't know where they want to do more than they were supposed to. They don't understand their worth. They understand that these are the owners, and they're going to put you in your place. I'm telling you, man, it sucks. And it's known, but do you necessarily want to conform? And then someone like Shedeur, who doesn't need the NFL, to money wise, monetarily wise, it's going to be himself. And then in the meetup, he's still very respectful. Even when he get drafted in the 5th round, he still was very respectful. I think he's going to go in there. Mark my words, guys. He's going to go in there, and he's going to end up being their backup quarterback. Joe Flacco will start from the beginning, and then towards game 6, he's going to end up starting. Watch. And then all this draft thing, they're going to say, oh, well, he outdid his draft stock. We really know that we knew he was extra talented, and he really showed out for us. And that's going to be the narrative going forward. It's stupid, and he's going to lose all that money. If I'm Shedeur, I don't want to sign a 4-year deal. Let me sign a 2-year deal, but they're not going to let that happen. let me show you what I'm worth, and then you got to pay me. So what they did is took money out of his pocket. So yeah.
But when do they start doing? Could it be a 3-year deal? Because I know sometimes, or is that undrafted?
I think it's undrafted. They could do that. But I thought that if you're drafted, you get a 4-year deal.
Is it 4? Okay. Well, I just know sometimes rookies have like 3-year deals, but like I said, that might be the undrafted rookies. So
I don't know. That's a good question. If Braden's watching, he can tell us.
So let's go back to this comment here for a second. I want to get your thoughts. The Browns crushed it by trading back and getting Mason Graham.
I think they did.
But now, granted, they get Mason Graham and they get a first-round pick next year. I understand. Mm-hmm. But they still could have had Myles Garrett on one side and Abdul Carter on the other.
I would contend that Mason Graham might even do more.
But at defensive tackle?
Yes.
Defensive tackle is not new.
Yes. But exactly. But I think that because he's a 3 technique on against it, I think he might even do more because Mason Graham is the best defensive tackle in the draft. There's no question.
Oh, he was.
His use of hands are amazing, right? You're not going to be able to run on the Browns at all. Not at all. And his pressure that he puts
92.2 this past season. No one else even got a 90 on defensive line. His
pressure that he puts on the quarterback is second to none. This dude, Mason Graham, is a monster.
He's put him next to Myles Garrett, or does he go Myles Garrett?
You go 3. You put Myles Garrett on the opposite side of a 3 technique. You put him on the side of the.
I just realized they're both MG.
Oh yeah, Myles Garrett. I was like, what?
I was like, oh shit, MG.
I think what you do. So it's saying you put him at 3. You put Myles Garrett at the 7, which is the other side defensive end, and now you're crushing lines. And if you double and triple team Myles Garrett, Mason Graham will be defensive rookie of the year. That's what will happen. He's that good. Abdul Carter is a good pick, but he has the stress fracture in his foot. The Browns picked up another first round for next year and that second and then another pick in the draft. I think that was an unbelievable draft, unbelievable decision. I think Schlesinger is going to make so many freaking tackles because those two guys in front of him.
I don't want to talk about that. I'm kind of mad about that pick. I mean, I understand the pick, but like, motherfucker, you have Jock there. Why are we trying to get another goddamn linebacker? I don't need somebody eating into my linebackers production.
But you can do 2 linebackers now. If the team it makes sense for that team.
Off injury too, so I mean, I understand the pick, but like,
it's going to be good. It makes a lot of sense.
Draft, and then you got the stupid. What is going on with this draft? So I got the Browns bringing in a linebacker, the Ravens bringing in another safety. Why are we trying to handicap my defensive players? Come on now.
Come on, yeah. I got you.
I mean, maybe these additions can make my players better.
Exactly, because they also drafting.
Plus, they could look like real geniuses. They could still swing a trade for like Thibodeau. Thibodeau's available apparently.
Thibodeau's going to go somewhere, and it's going to be a team that we didn't see coming. I think, and it's going to solidify someone's draft and say the reason why we didn't do this is because we did this.
And what if the Browns have Mason Graham, Thibodeau, and Garrett? Oh. They
ain't got enough money for that.
I'm not saying they have enough money, but they can bring them in for you.
But I think anyone decent opposite of those guys are going to have unbelievable years.
Love to have Thibodeau, but I know the Giants aren't going to trade him.
So. To you? Yeah, right.
Maybe he'll get traded and then he hits free agency and then we can just pick him up. Be like, you want to take on your old team that didn't believe in you and got a Carter instead? Come on.
What scares me is the thought that maybe the Bears might trade Cole Kmet, especially with Burden. With seeing what they did with Colston Loveland and then Burden, and then they trade Cole Kmet. And I don't think that's a good idea.
Didn't think about that. That's possible.
Braden says undrafted free agents in the NFL sign 3-year contracts typically at league minimum.
Okay. So
it's a 4-year if you're out in the first round, and 3-year undrafted.
Makes sense.
So Mason Graham is greater than Abdul Carter.
Ooh, damn. All right.
Mason Graham is more. I think the 3 technique, because it's a direct line to the quarterback, is a more important position. And you have the greatest defensive end, in the NFL, next to a great 3 technique, you're in trouble. The Browns we might be looking at the Browns and say, "Wow, Shedeur Sanders takes them to the playoffs." We would have to trade our first for TJ Watt. No, you have to trade more than just one first for TJ Watt. Especially because you guys are going to win. You guys are going to have to win.
It's all a projected trade with us and the Steelers. And it was definitely a lot more than just one first.
Yeah, it's going to be probably 2 first and a third or something like that.
I don't think it was 2 first, but
what you got? I would like to know. Look it up. See what you can find.
Quote the Big Lebowski. That's just like my opinion.
My opinion, man.
Personally, though, I don't think TJ's going. I would love TJ Watt to get traded to the Commanders because then I'd have, my team's edge rusher. Be nice. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't know if TJ's going to be there. If they don't win this year, if the Pittsburgh Steelers don't win this year, they
would have to trade him. This is his contract year, I think. Unless you're saying like
I thought he just signed a deal.
I think
he doesn't have 2 years left on it?
2 or 3 years ago, he signed like a 3-year contract extension.
Extension. So he had 4 years, right? I thought that he had 2 years left on his contract, but I'm not sure. Oh, it was 2021. He signed a
4-year deal in 2021.
It was 2021. Okay, I think it's 2022. Okay.
This is his last year. And it wasn't even like an extension. He signed
a deal. It wasn't
right.
You forget how old TJ Watt is. Oh my God.
31. Calm down.
Yeah. I forget that he's that old. I always think that he's like 29. Myles Garrett is 2 years younger than TJ Watt.
No, Myles Garrett's about to be 30.
So right now he's 2 years younger than TJ Watt.
1 year, TJ Watt's 31.
He's about to be 30. When
TJ Watt just turned 31.
Yeah, 2 years.
TJ Watt was born in I guess he'll be
I think isn't his birthday like
TJ Watt's 30. TJ Watt's 30, sir.
He's not even about to turn 31. Yeah, he's about to. I'm looking at it right now. He's about to turn 31.
In October, he's going to be 31.
During the
TJ
season.
Watt's going to be 30.
There's only a 9-month difference or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say Myles Garrett will be 30.
Not to December. He's not. Myles Garrett just turned 29. He's 28. He just turned 29 in December.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a 18 months. Something like that. No,
it's
16 months. 16 months. October.
Well, no. So he's 28. So yeah.
15. Yeah. So yeah, Myles Garrett is much younger. That's all. That's what we need to know. Oh man, we could talk about the draft all day, and you know what? We will on Wednesday. So on Tuesday, I will have a more epic rant about the Bears. The anger that's going to come is probably going to be. You ever see Inside Out, and the anger one, and his hair's on fire as he's screaming, "Ah!" That's probably gonna be me on Tuesday.
Can we get that thumbnail? Just you with fire coming out here.
It's coming out of my hair. That's probably what's gonna happen. So that's gonna be on Tuesday. I'll talk to the other guys to see how they're feeling. I might even have a Panda sighting. He might be coming by to see and say something. So it's crazy.
He was on the show on Thursday. I was like, Panda.
I was like, I know he came over my house. I was like, yeah, look at this. Look at this
he was actually at your house. That's
funny. Yeah. I had 3 computers around here, so
gotcha.
Going over. So that's the Tuesday, and then Wednesday, me and Mark will actually go through it. I'm going to give every team a grade. On Wednesday, we'll give each one. Me, Mark, and Alex go through all of our teams, decide who gets a good grade, who gets a bad grade, and where we rank them overall. So I'm giving you homework.
Cool.
Till then, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I have to go to the movies with my wife because it's date day. So I spent all weekend from Thursday all the way watching all sports and doing the draft and writing things. I have like 5 pages of notes from the draft. So as I was getting angry, I was writing it all down. So I can't wait to share a lot of that stuff with
I
you
got
guys.
5 pages of notes from the draft, and 4.5 of them were just
Are Bears. Just, 4.5 of them are Bears, and 2.5 of them are just curse words.
I was gonna say 2.5 of them are just the F word over and over again.
You mother. Oh man, it's so much fun. But guys, we'll see you guys on Tuesday at 9:30, and then on Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and we'll have a good time and go through everyone's draft. And we want to focus on your teams. Come in, talk about it in chat. I'll have it all graded out, and we'll focus on your draft. And then the following weekends, we will make sure to talk about the fantasy aspect of it. So, like when I tell you that Travion Henderson as a fantasy running back is not in a good place. Quinshawn Judkins is in a great place. You know, and you're going to see, boy, if you could grab Travis Hunter, you're going to win. So
yeah, Bryans already pretty much got him locked up.
Yeah, so we'll talk about all those things. We'll tell you guys where to draft
sure
them.
Cole Slott's going Genty.
I mean, I'm glad I have enough draft in the early first round early that I can pick a lot of guys. So I'm going to feel good about my running back soon. So we'll talk about all that stuff coming.
3 years in a row with the toilet bowl.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm unlucky. You know, I can win 10 games and still lose. So who knows?
What do you want for Brisker? What are you gonna give me?
And we'll see you guys later. Right now. See you later. Later, guys.
Later, Lucas.